Are you looking for interesting books to read in the lockdown? I've got 4 fascinating suggestions for you. Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my channel Booked, Line and Sinker, where I'm going to have inspiring conversations with you about books and all things related. Firstly, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. I'm super excited about starting this YouTube channel where I'm going to be releasing a new video every week. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 fascinating reads that I've come across during the lockdown. One is a love story, one is a contemporary American story written by a Black American author who is also a Pulitzer Prize winner. Another one is a spiritual book, and the 4th one is a murder mystery. So let's get started. So the first book which I want to discuss with you is Normal People by Sally Rooney. Now Sally Rooney has really weaved a beautiful story. It's about human insecurities and about vulnerability. There are 2 main characters in this book, a boy and a girl who meet in high school, and then they come together continuously through the span of the book, having an affair and then growing apart and then coming back together again. And it is actually a commentary on their relationship. The story is set in Dublin, and the 2 main characters are really raw and full of flaws. So Normal People really made me question the idea of what is a normal person? How do you define a normal person? This is a beautiful love story, and I think you'll really enjoy reading it. The second book which I would recommend to you is The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. Now this has been written by the Pulitzer Prize winner Colson Whitehead, who is a Black author and who writes on racism and issues related to Blacks in America. The book per se came to me at a very relevant time in the backdrop of the George Floyd incident, and I thought it was a really timely read. It's a sad book. It narrates the story of 2 Black boys who are sent to a juvenile reform school in America in the 1960s. The entire book is interspersed with quotations of Martin Luther King, which were highly inspiring. And one of the main characters, Elwood, who in spite of being sent off to reform school, holds on to the hope provided by the words of Martin Luther King. The story is about finding hope in really desperate times, and it actually really resonated with me because of the entire corona pandemic and the lockdown, and how we are all in need of a little bit of hope to keep us going through this difficult time. In the book Nickel Boys, Colson Whitehead also draws our attention to the systemic issues which exist in the Reformation system of America. For example, beatings, sexual abuse, and the biases which have actually seeped down into the very fabric of American society. I think in our troubled times today, where so many discriminatory practices exist across the world and people are trying to bring light to them, it was a very, very essential read because these stories need to be told and need to be heard. The third book that I want to recommend to you is Adiyogi by Sadhguru. It is written by Sadhguru along with one of his followers slash disciple, Arundhati Subramaniam. Now, this is not a religious book. It is not about Isha Yoga. It is a spiritual book about Lord Shiva. I was looking for something which talked about the origins of Shiva as a character, as a mythological character. And that's when I chanced upon this book because I've actually always been fascinated by Lord Shiva. I find him really dynamic and very human in temperament. This book really surprised me because it's been written in such a simple story-like fashion. Some of the stories which I was already familiar with, for example, Ganesha's head, about Parvati and Shiva's marriage, about Kartikeya, and some of the stories were completely new to me. The book also talks about yoga, and it attributes the origins of yoga to Adiyogi or Shiva, the terms being used interchangeably by Sadhguru. And it also talked about how yoga is far, far much more than just asanas, and it is a means to enlightenment. Now, I felt the need to read this book at this present time is because I was looking to reinforce my faith in the divine, and I must say that this book really helped me do it without being very preachy. So if you are somebody who enjoys reading spiritual reads and is curious about the evolution of mythological characters, then I would suggest you try out Adiyogi by Sadhguru. So the fourth book which I want to suggest to you is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Now Delia Owens is a zoologist and she took about 10 years to write this book, and this is her first novel. And for a first novel, I must say it was really good. The story is about this young girl, Kya, who is actually abandoned by her parents in the marshes of North Carolina. So through the course of the book, she is called the Marsh Girl, and it is about how she lives out her lonely existence and how nature actually becomes her refuge. It is a very visually written book. Every page is so descriptive that I was compelled to go online and search for the North Carolina marshes, and I found it absolutely beautiful. There's also a mystery which is set in the book when a murder takes place in the marshes, and that too kept me totally hooked on to this book. All in all, as a debut, Delia Owens has written a novel which is absolutely unputdownable. So guys, these were my 4 fascinating reads during the lockdown. If you enjoyed my review, please do subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Until the next book, see you later. Bye-bye.